Attack on Titan. It's a masterpiece in both mediums. But whether you watch the anime or read the manga, you might be surprised to find out just how many differences there are between the two. Welcome to the first video in the series where we go deep dive on Attack on Titan and compare exactly what's changed between the manga and the anime. We're going scene by scene, starting from the very beginning. Detail number 1. So after that shocking intro with the colossal titan and those incredible visuals, we see it towering over the 50-meter wall. Now in the anime, you might just assume that this titan wandered around outside and happened to stumble upon the gate right. But here's the thing, in the manga, there's a crucial detail that's missing from the anime. When you look at the ground, there's only a single footprint. Just one. This thing didn't walk here from somewhere else. It appeared. And for the manga readers, this small visual detail was actually an early hint that this wasn't just an ordinary titan. Now, before we move on, I know some of you watch these kinds of videos for even the tiniest of details, so I'm going to mention everything, even if it's not plot critical. But for the title cards and dialogues that are different, maybe just from translation, I'll not mention it, unless it's important. Detail number 2. When the Servicors are fighting the Titan just outside the wall in the beginning, it's raining in the anime. But in the manga, it's not raining at all. The storm was likely added by the anime team just to enhance the visual drama. But let's get to something way more significant. After that fight sequence in the opening, we see Eren waking up from a dream. In the anime, this dream shows glimpses of his mother's brutal death and some other intense visuals. But here's where it gets really interesting. The manga has a completely different panel here. Instead of those scenes, we get this. This is huge that the anime left this out. Those of you who've finished the series knows exactly what I'm talking about. This is the final moment when Mikasa kills Eren. But in the manga, it was there from chapter 1. Isayama was foreshadowing the ending from the very first chapter. Although it makes sense that Eren was crying because of his mother's death and all, in the manga, it paints a different picture. A future where he sees Mikasa saying these lines with short hair, and then he asks, "When did your hair grow so long?" Even the anime team couldn't have known Isayama's full vision yet. As we move into the town scenes, the differences start piling up. Some bigger than others. There's this scene with the preacher talking about the world religion. That wasn't in the manga at all, completely an anime original addition. When Grisha was introduced, there's also a subtle difference in how he's described. The anime calls him the savior of the town who cured an epidemic, while in the manga he's simply labeled as a benefactor. Small difference, but worth noting. Here's an interesting cut. In the manga, the garrison soldiers with Hannes are the ones who mention the Servicors returning. The anime just skipped this dialogue entirely and we don't get that conversation at all. Speaking of the Servicors return, the anime actually adds something here that wasn't in the original manga. We see Erwin looking directly at Eren during their return to the city. That moment, it's not in the manga. They added that in probably to establish Erwin's presence earlier. However, the manga gets more specific with details. They mention exactly how many people went on the expedition, and the anime doesn't include that number at all. Now, here's something that surprised me. Those currently public available information, title cards that appear throughout the anime, I always thought those were from the manga, just adapted for the screen. But nope, they're anime exclusive. We don't get anything like these info cards in the manga until chapter 2. Which we'll talk about when we get there. 10th detail. Let's talk about the Jaeger house, because this detail actually matters later. In the anime, it's somewhat elevated, near some stairs, but in the manga, it's just on a flat street in a regular neighborhood. Keep this in mind because it comes relevant when Carla gets trapped. There's also dialogue change in the conversation between Carla and Eren. In the manga, Carla just scolded Eren and Mikasa for being late. Then the other scene continues. While in the anime, Carla caught Eren in a lie when she asked about working harder than usual. Another small addition. In the anime, it mentions that Grisha will be away for 2 to 3 days. The manga doesn't specify this timeline at all. This conversation among the three, just before the wall was broken, was different as well. These two panels were worded differently. Now we get to the moment everyone remembers, Bertholdt's transformation. In the anime, we see that iconic lightning strike as he transforms into Colossal Titan. In the manga, that lightning isn't shown at all. They added that visual effect for the anime, and honestly, it became such an iconic part of the series that it's weird to think that it wasn't in the original. The next one is super minor. The Colossal Titan's hands is different in the anime than in the manga. Just a stylistic difference in the art. After the transformation, something interesting happens with the pacing. In the manga, chapter 1 ends with these powerful lines. The anime used this narration at the start of the episode and again at the end after showing the sequence from chapter 2. They shuffle things around, which honestly works well for both mediums. It's a perfect chapter ending and a perfect episode cliffhanger. Now on to the chapter 2 of the manga, and where the structural differences become more apparent. The beginning narration here was used in the anime, but not until episode 2, and it was voiced by Armin. In the manga though, this narration is told from a different perspective. It's from the future, or at least from a different point in the timeline. We'll dive deeper into this distinction when we cover episode 2. From here, the next panels follow the manga's pacing pretty closely. But we're back to that house difference again. Remember how I mentioned Carla's location earlier? She's trapped in a flat neighborhood in the manga, while the anime has her near those stairs we talked about. It's a consistent change they made to the setting. And here's our final difference for this episode. There's this whole inner monologue from Hannes that the anime completely leaves out. He's debating with himself, should he fight the Titan or flee with the kids? We see the fear, the doubt, the guilt. In the anime, this entire thought process is omitted. We just see his actions, not the turmoil behind the decision. It's one of those character moments that gives us more insight into why he makes the choice he does. And that's everything from the first episode and the first 2 chapters. As you can see, even from the very beginning, there are tons of differences, some huge and some small. But they all add up to create a slightly different experiences between the manga and the anime. In the next video, we'll continue with episode 2 and see how the anime handles the aftermath of Colossal Titan's attack. If there's anything I missed, let me know in the comments. I love to hear what you've got. If you want to see more of these deep dives, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one.